Okay, guys, here we go. I'm assuming that you've tried all of these questions, or at least the ones that I'm about to go over. If you need to, like, watch some of the questions, watch me go over some first, and then kind of get a feel for it before you try the rest. That's fine too, but try as much as possible to do the questions as much as you can before watching. Okay, number one, we're for each of these, we're stating if the argument is valid or invalid, and then trying to find which of the 6 common arguments apply. Let me just real quick erase all of my extra markings here, because we're going to reference back to here and I don't want to be distracted. Sorry, should have done this earlier before I started this video. I guess I could just restart because I'm at the beginning, but I'm being a lazy butt right now. I'm just doing it here. Come on. Okay, so first step here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to translate symbolically. That will help me to see what's going on a little clearer. So if you're tall, then you're good at basketball. I'll use T for tall, arrow to B for good at basketball. Second premise, you are tall. Therefore, we use the 3 dots to represent therefore, you are good at basketball. So if you look, we're going left to right. Left to right, that's the most simple argument. That's valid by direct reasoning. Direct reasoning. See, we're following this pattern right here, right? Left to right, left to right. Okay. Number 2, if you're tall, then you're good at basketball. Okay, so same starting premise. Oh, let's alternate colors here. If you're tall, then you're good at basketball. You're not good at basketball. That's the negation of B. Therefore, you're not tall. Here I've got left, here I've got right. Next, I've got the negation of the right side to the negation of the left side. That's the pattern of the contrapositive, right? And so that is indirect reasoning. That's this guy right here. That's that guy right there. So that is valid again. That's just my own notes there. This is valid again by indirect reasoning this time. Or if you said contrapositive, I accept that too. Okay, number 3. If you're tall, then you're good at basketball. Okay, so same starting premise again. Let's do the new color. You are good at basketball. Then if you're good at basketball, then you have big calves. We'll use C for calves. Therefore, if you're tall, then you have big calves. Well, let's check. It looks like a transitive reasoning case. First thing to check is, do the centers match up? And yes, they do. They're both B's. That's okay. And the second thing to check, am I going in the right order from T all the way to C? T to C. Yes, I am. Alternatively, you could have done the contrapositive of that and still been correct. So if I had done negation C, arrow to negation T, that's also okay. But we had this one right there, so we're good. That would be valid. And we call that transitive reasoning. Okay, number 4. And you probably see what's going on here, right? So, I mean, you probably guess what's going on here. We're going in order so far of the 3 valid ones. We've got the same initial starting premise. Probably what's happening is we're going to do the ones that are wrong now, right? The invalid arguments. Let's see. If you're tall, then you're good at basketball. You're good at basketball. Uh-oh, I already see a problem. Here, I'm on the right. Therefore, you're tall, and that is invalid because I went left to right to left this time. Which pattern is right to left? That's the converse, right? So this is invalid. And that's a fallacy. What fallacy? Well, fallacy of the converse. Okay, next one. If you're tall, then you're good at basketball. Same initial starting premise. You're not tall. That's negation of T. And already it's looking like that's how the inverse starts, right? Negation of the left side. Therefore, negation of the right side, that's the inverse pattern. So again, invalid. Fallacy of the inverse. Okay, number 6. If you're tall, then you go to basketball. Same initial start position again. If you're... let me use a darker color. It's a little too... it's too hard to see. Stick with green. Let's do darker green. It's blue-green. If you're tall, then you're good at basketball. If you're good at basketball, then you have big calves. Oh, same starting premise as when we did the transitive reasoning, right? If you have big calves, then you're tall. Oh, but that's the wrong conclusion. It's the wrong direction. Notice I'm going from the right side back to the beginning. Wrong direction. That is a false chain pattern. And therefore, it's invalid. Yeah, invalid. All right, so numbers 1 through 6 were actually just examples of each of the 6 types of arguments. 3 valid ones and 3 invalid ones. And now let's move on. Let's see, I got 19 questions total. Let's just do the first page and then we'll cut it off. We'll cut this video off. All right, number 7. Okay, you see a bunch of, you see negations now, other stuff. But really what I want to focus on is what is the left and what is the right. Here on the left is a not Q. Okay, so I've got the left side not Q. Here's the right. What do I see here? This is the negation of the right side, right? And here is the negation of the left side. So let's write it out like that. That's what I'm seeing here. I see something on the left, arrow to something on the right. That's always the same starting position, no matter what my particulars are. Here, I see the negation of what was on the right. And the conclusion is the negation of what was on the left originally. Because Q is the negation of not Q, right? And so what pattern is that? You can refer back to your notes here, but really, it's pretty obvious. That's just this pattern right here. That's the indirect reasoning pattern. That's for sure one that you should feel comfortable with. Okay, so that's going to be valid indirect reasoning. Okay, number 8. Make sure you try these first, yeah? I've got something that's on the left, something that's on the right. Second row, this is the negation of the left side. Yeah, that's the negation of the original left side. And what is my conclusion? It's the negation of what was originally on the right side. So what's negation to left to negation to right? What pattern is that? That's the inverse pattern. So that's an invalid argument. That's the fallacy of the inverse. Fallacy of the inverse. Okay, one more. And we'll take another break. So here I've got something on the left. I've got something on the center, both times matching up. Got something on the right. Yeah, so far that's looking good. Let's write out what I see. I see something on the left, arrow to something that's in the center. I see that same center matching up, arrow to something that's on the right. Now, what is the conclusion? Here was the right thing. This is the negation of that. So it's negation of the right. And here's the negation of the P. That's the original left negation, right? Negation of the left. So this pattern I see right here, it's looking like the contrapositive of the original, left to right. Yeah? Remember, there's 2 valid conclusions that you could make. You can go from the left all the way to the right. Or you can do what we see right here, and that's the negation of the right all the way to the negation of the left. So that pattern, that's actually a valid argument. That's the transitive reasoning pattern. Or one of the transitive reasoning patterns. There's 2 possible conclusions I could make and still be transitive reasoning. Okay, sweet. Let's take another break here, and then we'll finish up in the next video.